Welcome to the Never Too Late podcast, brought to you by Upright Truth Tellers Clothing. In this podcast, we meet inspiring people who have changed their lives in a positive way and whose stories let you know it's never too late. So welcome to the Never Too Late podcast. My name is Raquel. We have a very special guest here today. It's actually quite a funny story because this is Josh, and he is part of the Never Too Late podcast. And I'm super, super grateful that you're allowing me to interview you today and tell your story. So yeah, thanks so much for jumping on.
Nah, grateful. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, like you said, like it's pretty legit, but I'm happy to be here, you know, share my story, and hopefully my story can inspire some people out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on here. Mm-hmm. And as you know, we generally start with kind of getting a background story of our friends that we're interviewing, like where'd you grow up, nationality, siblings, family, stuff like that.
Yep. So first of all, I'm Josh Leifi. Some people know me as Sewer. I grew up in West Auckland, born and raised off Lincoln Road. Everyone knows Lincoln Road, down
nice.
Pomaria,
yeah.
From the hood. Youngest of four, two parents, both Samoan. But yeah, so there's 3 boys, 1 girl. And yeah, it's good, eh? Like, grew up in the hood and know heaps of the boys, and now I'm back there working, so I'm happy to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. We love hearing people's stories from the areas that we're from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like, I'm from this hood in Avondale, and you're, you know, it's 15 minutes away from here, your hood.
Yeah.
And hearing the stories of people, how they've got to be where they are today is awesome.
Definitely.
You know? And like, we want to hear about people's stories, how they got to be where they are. Because what are you doing now for work?
Actually a high school teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teach art and PE. I love it. Yeah, it's just cool to give back, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what made you want to get into teaching and art and PE specifically?
Well, it's funny because I started off like typical Samoan boy into sports, and yeah, just slowly like sports didn't work out, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying like I was a mean sports player, but the boys played and I wanted to play, and it was just like the thing we did. But then I think about 14 years old, I got told that I was epileptic. And if you don't know what that is, it's epilepsy. It's like when you have seizures and fits, and pretty much got told like you can't play anymore. And at first it was hard. Like, it was just kind of like they just dropped a rock on me, you know, like
your dreams just shattered, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the boys couldn't play with the boys anymore, and it was just kind of like, oh, all good then. But then I fell in love with art, and art just kind of took me from there, and then got told I could play again, but it wasn't the same anymore, you know? Art was the thing for me. So yeah, that's how I started. Yeah, that's how I started off. Art was like the new, in a way it was like a space filler, because I was always into art.
But probably didn't have time, right?
Yeah, didn't have time.
Your goal was, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be into sports.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing. That's art, I'll do that on the side.
Yeah, and like, it's funny because in school, art was like, I was harder into graph, like so much. Like, my oldest brother, John, used to show me like how to tag and stuff, and then I got into it. And then at school, like, I remember when we were young and the teacher used to be like, do a title page. And I used to go for gold, and like,
yeah, nice.
I didn't think I was good until the boys are like, bro, you're mean, you know? And that's all I remember. And then I just fell in love with it again, eh?
Yeah, it just came naturally to you.
Yeah, it just came back. It was just kind of like, it's there, like how we said, it was always there. But then when sports wasn't there, it was just like, it was still there, you know, and that's how it worked out.
That's awesome. That's awesome to know that you didn't allow your, you know, what you had been told to just crush you.
Yeah.
And just be like, nah, I ain't going to do, you know, my dream's been crushed and that's it.
Yeah.
You keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
That's awesome. You're like, okay, sweet. What else do I love?
Yeah.
And you're like, I love art. And then it just came naturally. And then, you know, when something comes naturally is when your friends and your family around you are like, you're mean at this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're just doing title pages, going hundy on it.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay.
Yeah, it was crack up because a lot of the boys used to be like, they'll say it to me like, bro, you're mean as. And to me, it was just kind of like, nah, because I think for me it was more like I saw better, but like my work was just kind of like, it was just touching the surface, and it was just kind of like, nah, it's not that great, bro. But nah, I appreciate the love, but like, nah, bro, you haven't seen me, you know?
But we're always our worst critic, right?
Yeah, exactly it. And that's what I always say to my kids now. Like, you might not like it, but someone will, you know? And, but yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned from it was a setback. It was a setback, but it's also a setup, you know? And that's how I look at it.
That's nice. Setback is a setup.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important message.
Definitely.
Yeah, because a lot of people have a lot of setbacks, you know? People think that life is just this like cruisy thing, especially young ones. You probably know this from the kids that you teach. They probably think that it's like this, but it's ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely.
Constantly.
And you, like they always say, like, to have the good days, you got to go through the bad ones, you know?
Yeah.
And I think being told was a bad day, but it was more like a bad phase. And I think it helped me grow as a person as well. Just seeing that what you think of life, like it's so still and it's so tunnel vision that you think it's it.
Yeah.
Until something happens. You know?
Something catches you off guard and you're like, oh, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
But I think you'll bring out a good message that you just kept going.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you weren't like, oh, this is it for me, then I'm just going to, you know, do whatever and not follow any passion because your dream was crushed.
Yep. And I think, like, even just saying that, like, there's so many kids out there that want to crack sports, and, like, I'm not saying, like, it's a bad thing.
And it's normal from the hoods that we're from, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It is pushed like crazy.
And it is pushed, and but I think kids need to be pushed to the truth as well. And I guess I found the truth the hard way. And, like, now I look back and it was a hard way, but I'll never change it. I'll never change it for anything, because it humbled me, but it also helped me grow to understand, like, there's more to you. There's more, like I said, like, setbacks are setups. And it really set me up, because, like, at one point you're like, bro, I'm going to crack it. I'm going to think I'm going to crack the NRL. I'm going to crack the All Blacks. And, like, every kid thinks that.
Yeah. Especially, like I said, from the hoods that we're from, that's their vision.
Yeah. That's the mentality that they have. And, like, there's nothing wrong with it.
100%.
But you got to think realistic at the same time, you know? Like, kids are not told about injuries and just having that backup plan. And I guess I learned, because I was at 14 years old, so I still had 15, 16, 17, 18 at school, you know? And I'm grateful in a way that it happened so early, because I was kind of like, yo, let's suss this out, let's get this right.
Yeah.
And then art just started happening, like from level 1. I took it, like, by chance.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, let's ride off it, let's see what I can do. And the teacher that taught me used to tell me, like, Josh, you're really good. And you got something. And I always said it like, nah, I'm not happy with it. But to hear someone older and that had the right knowledge and knew what they were doing tell you, it meant something, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, it hurt, because all the boys are out there training, like, hard out. Like, the boys are going for gold. And, like, I never shied away from it. Like, I went and watched the games. I was always at the boys' ball games, always at the rugby games.
That's good. You're still supporting them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Because I think you got to celebrate your mates. You know, it's important.
100%.
Like, it's important, man, because when you're waiting for your winnings, enjoy your friends' winnings, you know, because that makes you understand that, like, if you win, everyone else wins.
Yeah, there's enough for everyone.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome to see other people supporting other people. Like, you could have been bitter, which is what a lot of people do. Oh, I didn't make it and I can't do that, so I'm not going to support you. Whereas you're like, I'm doing something else, but I'm still going to support you even though, you know, you're doing something different. Yeah. Like, that's so important. People just think, oh, I can only support people doing what I'm doing, or, you know?
Yeah. And it hurts sometimes, because, like, we see it every day, you know? That's just the truth, though. Like, you see it every day. Like, when someone doesn't make it, they don't want to be there for their friends. But, like, my advice to people is just, like, man, just stick it out. Be there, because, like, you got to love your friends, man. And you got to be there for them at their highest and their lowest, because that's when they'll be there for you, for your lowest. And I think for me, like, seeing that I couldn't play anymore, and just seeing, like, the love that my boys showed for my art, like, that like, really gave me some hope, you know, and it made me understand that even though I'm not out there with them playing or even getting to train with them, like, they were training with me in a way, you know, like they were still there patting my back and telling me like, bro, it's all good. Like you still got something, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's kids out there that go through injuries and go through the same issues, but they're not.
Real common, hey?
Yeah, and just like the same support, like even their coaches just kind of fall off. And then it's just like their mates fall off because they're not there anymore. And it's just like my goal was just to, you know, tell the young ones like, bro, even though your mate's not playing, like he's still by you, you know? But yeah.
Support your friends. Like that's awesome that you just kept supporting your friends no matter what.
Yeah.
And they kept
definitely.
hyping you too. Like I think that you've got a good foundation, you know? They saw that obviously you weren't able to do what your original plan was at 14, but then they saw you doing art and you were mean at that.
Yeah.
And they were like, yo, you are the man. But the fact that they just hyped you and they were there for you,
Yeah.
like you said, when you're in the classroom doing your art, you knew that they were there with you because they were like, you know, you're hype people and that's awesome. And then when they're on the field, you're like hyping them too.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
and yeah, like, man, it goes a long way. When you're there for someone, it can go a long way, like big or small. It goes, man, like even just acknowledging the small things, you know, like saying like how we just said, like, bro, your boys said that you're mean. That to me was like a massive push, you know, and got there in the end day, like.
That's awesome because it's positive energy.
That's
you know,
it.
You're just like, it's the littlest things that people don't think of.
Yeah.
You know, they don't think, oh, to tell someone, oh, that's a mean ass drawing, or that was a mean ass try, you know, stuff like that. But you're emphasizing that more
Yeah.
for more people to do that with their friends
Exactly.
because it's so important to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
And
there's going to be a time when you need it yourself. And like you said, you got to be there for your friends through the highs and the lows.
yeah, 100%.
And you're literally walking example of that because your friends were there when, you know, you were told that that's not going to, what you thought was going to happen is going to happen anymore. So you just kept moving forward.
Move forward, man. That's it. Step by step, day by day. And, you know, like I wasn't mean at it. Like I wasn't mean at sports, but it was just kind of, like it was just fun to be out there with the boys, eh? And then when you get told, like, you can't be out there anymore, it was just like a massive part of you was missing. And I think that for me was important because it wasn't missing in the end. It was just I was missing.
Yeah.
And my mindset wasn't right. Like I thought like everything wasn't going right. But it's just how you look at it sometimes, eh? And I think that's another thing. Like people see bad situations and just think bad vibes and negative. And there's always a positive and a negative.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
100% there's a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You've just, like you were talking about mindset, you know, how your mindset, you had to focus on something else, right?
Yep.
And I think that that's an important message as well, right? Because mindset is so powerful.
Oh, 100.
Especially when you're going through things where you think you're going to achieve something and it doesn't happen, you have a choice, right?
Yeah.
To pick a mindset of, okay, I've got to focus on something else and achieve something else, or you could change your mindset to, oh, woe is me, I can't do anything and I've got no more dreams or hopes anymore.
Definitely. Mindset was a big thing for me. You know, there was days where I got told that you weren't gonna do it, and there was like even with art, like I got told. I remember
school?
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
I remember in school, my last year of high school, and it's funny because I told my high school teacher like I wanted to go Elam, and Elam is at one point was the top art school in New Zealand.
Nice.
And it was part of Auckland University, and it hurt, you know, when you told someone like what you wanted to do. And he saw me go through art, and I told him in the beginning of the year, because I went to all the workshops for art school in year 12 because I knew what I needed to get, and told him like the first day back in Form 7, next year I want to do art school, or I'm thinking of going down the road of doing art. And he said, nah, you're good, but you're not that good. And
Damn.
like for me, that was kind of like, damn, it felt like that thing again.
But yeah, that's going back to when you were 14.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Damn.
And it really hurt because it was just kind of like, bro, I took your class from level 1, 2, and 3, and you're gonna hit me with that, you know? And like it just kind of felt like everything good he said to me was fake in a way. Like when he said I was good, when he said that you're really good, Josh, and you can go somewhere. But then it was just kind of like, what did you mean by that? Because like now I'm telling you where I want to go, and you're saying I can't go. So it was just kind of like the mindset was there, but the hurt was too. And I think the biggest thing from that was just knowing that if no one can change your mind, bro, you can go far. Because he told me that, and he taught me up. And when he said that, it was just kind of like, hey.
Like, imagine if you listen to him, though, right?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Going back to mindset, imagine if you listen to him and he's like, nah, Josh, you're not going to, don't, aim lower.
Yeah.
Imagine if you listen to that.
Exactly. And it's sad because a lot of our people do listen to that.
We do.
And I see it every day, man, and it hurts because it's like, you have no idea, like, as an adult, you have no idea, like, what, like, words you say to a kid and how much it can affect them, and I remember that day, man, like it was yesterday when he said that.
Yeah, like the way that you were telling the story, it pulled on my heartstrings too, because I was like, oh man, I could just picture you there as this kid, and how you said that it took you back to when you were 14.
Yeah, definitely.
And he didn't even know the impact that he had, right? He just said those words to you.
Yeah. And it was funny because he said to me, you can apply, but I don't know if it will happen. And I remember I said to him, like, cool. And I took it on the chin.
That's good.
And
that's
like at the same time, I wanted to jab him. Like, I'm not going to lie, like I wanted to.
It's the truth.
But I took it on the chin and I applied. And I remember everything I needed to tick off. And I kept hitting up the uni like, yo, like, what do I need to get in? And they said, you need to pass level 3. And that was it. Like, I set goals, like goal by goal, like get through level 3, get my numeracy, my literacy. And I just had that at the back of my head, like, you ain't gonna do it. You can't go there, like, and that was always at the back of my head.
Keep pushing through.
But in front of me was like, I can do it, I am gonna do it. And I applied. And I remember it was like, about the week where we finished, like year 13, and our results hadn't come back. And I showed him an email where I applied, and I said, we've got a spot for you based on if you pass level 3. And I remember saying to him, and I walked out of his class and I said to him, like, sir, I want to get my level 3 and I want to show you during the holidays that I got in. And he said to me, it was funny because he said to me, I know you can do it. But in my way, like, I was trying to push you, and I said to him, yeah, but I'm only a kid, man. You don't say that to a kid. And I think the way he went about it was like he was talking to an adult. And that's a massive fall that we have. Like, we talk to our young ones like they're adults, and they can take it the wrong way, because I took it the wrong way. I didn't go class for like a couple of weeks, and I stopped going class, and we had a lot of conflicts. Yeah, because it was a massive setback. Like, we had a lot of conflicts. Like, he'll start emailing the dean, like, I haven't seen Josh, but I see he's at school. And heaps of the boys tell him he's just working in the library. And he came to the library once and he was like, what are you doing? And I said to him, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I can't work in a room with someone that told me I couldn't do it. And like, a part of me was angry, but another part of me was just like, bro, I ain't gonna ride with you, bro. Like, whether you love it or not, I'm gonna get there. I ain't just gonna ride with you. And the last day I handed him my board, and he was shocked. He was like, man, this whole year I thought you didn't do work. And I said it to him. I said, just like how you thought I wouldn't make it,
Man.
And I got there, I got there, and I got the email, and it said that I passed level 3. And I remember sending it to him with like a massive grin on my face, like, bro, I got there. And it's funny because the people that say the darkest things to you will be the same ones that jump right back in.
Yeah, or try to.
Yeah, because he asked me to do a piece for the school.
Did he?
Yeah, and like I don't hate him. Like, I don't hate him, and like I just remember that always, because it was a massive push for me, because like I said, a setback is a setup. And man, it broke me for a bit. It broke me.
That's good. You're honest about that. You're like, 2 weeks. You're like, it was rough. I didn't want to go see him.
And it broke me, man. And it hurt for ages because I was just like, bro. But then it always goes back to mindset, Like, at the end of the day, whether you do it or not, someone's going to have something to say.
Yeah, there's always people that you think are even like rooting for you.
Yeah.
And then they say something like that and you're like, okay. Kind of shows their true colors.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? He could have said,
good luck.
Yeah. Like, go for gold.
Yeah.
Like, he could have said something so simple.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know if you'll get in.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the power to decide that.
Yeah.
All he can do is encourage you. That's his job, you know? Teach you and encourage you.
Yeah.
So he could have said, go hard, Josh. All the best.
Yeah.
You know, that could have just, you know, left you being like, okay, sweet. He said, go hard. That's it. But he was just like, okay, we'll see what happens.
See what happens, you know? And
yeah, and you can apply, but you might not get it in.
That's it.
Like little things like that. You're like, what? You told me my art was good. You said that I was good. Like we're in class, like you said, level 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I was good.
Yeah.
And it confused the shit out of me.
Yeah, because like all this hype, and then now it's like D-Day, and you're like, yo, now I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like this massive, you get to the top of the mountain and you're like, yeah, I know what I want to do. And he's just trying to crush your dreams again and pushing you back to where you were when you were 14.
Bro. And it hurt because like he was someone that I looked at, you know?
Yeah, you do look up to people that are teaching you that you respect, you know?
And it was just kind of like, like when you tell someone like they're good and then you tell them that they're not good, it's confusing, especially as a kid, but it confuses you, and it stuffed me up for a bit because I was just kind of like, yo, what the heck? But from that point forward, I understood something, and that was just like, in life there's hurdles, you know, and there's a lot of battles, and there's going to be battles, but it's not about the battle, it's about the war. Who wins the war, you know? And I can tell you now, from where I'm sitting, like I won that war.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that too. Like you took it on the chin. You took a moment, like you said, you took 2 weeks and you were just like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that 2 weeks you could have given up and been like, that 2 weeks could have turned into 2 years of just not
doing anything.
Yeah, not pursuing your dreams or anything.
Definitely.
You could have just given up.
Yeah, and it's sad because a lot of us go through that and we listen to the noise, you know. Everywhere you go there's noise. And everywhere you go, like in life, there's always going to be someone saying something. Whether you do something good or bad, doesn't matter, man. Someone's going to say something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what are you saying to yourself?
Yeah.
You know?
That's so important. People need to understand that your internal battle, like your mindset, is your foundation for whatever happens
That's it.
out there.
Yep.
You know? And like if your teachers, like for the kids that listen, it's like if your teachers are telling you that you can't do something, you actually can. It's just them. It could also be them putting their insecurities onto you.
Oh, definitely.
You know, but as adults, we know that. But as a kid, you're like, hey, why are you being so negative towards me?
Because to me, it was just kind of like, bro, you're a hater, bro. But I was just a kid, you know, because it was just kind of like, bro, what a dog. Like, who are you to say that?
Yeah, like he's your teacher.
Yeah.
So he's meant to encourage you and push you.
Exactly. And I think that's a massive message that I have in my teaching is just telling kids, like, the smallest encouragement, man. Like, even when they come back from the weekend and I watch them play in the weekend, like, the smallest thing. And you just see their face light up, and it's like, I don't want to make that same mistake, you know, because I just guess I learned from what he did. And like I said, I don't hate the guy, but I hated what he did. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand too. Like, people be like, I hate him, I hate this, I hate that.
Yeah.
Hate what they did, don't hate them. You know?
Because hate that's so important for people to see that too, because people think, oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hate you now.
Yep.
But people don't understand hate turns into resentment, and resentment is like you drinking poison expecting the other person to die. But it's so important to see that you can hate what someone does, but still not hate them.
definitely.
And wish them the best, because that's just so much easier. You're just like, all the best. Hopefully they don't do it to someone else.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, they'll just watch you grow, and you're just proving them wrong. And hopefully they learn from that.
Yeah. And your mind's at rest, you know.
At peace, you
at
know.
peace
You're not
as
being
well.
bitter. You're not being angry. You're not being resentful.
Yeah. And that's a massive thing in my journey too, was and understanding the power of forgiveness.
So powerful.
Yeah. Like because that wasn't only the rocky thing in my journey. Going into our school, holy
How was that?
holy man, our school.
So you finally made it, right? You
Yep.
had your setback at 14. Then, you know, you get to, you know, get the beginning of your level 3 and get told that, oh, good luck. I don't know if you're going to make it, by someone that you looked up to that was training you in the, you know, profession that you wanted to do, which was art. And then now you're finally
At uni.
Yeah.
And uni, damn. I think uni, schools sell uni,
They do.
but school doesn't sell the idea that uni isn't school. They sell uni like, if you do this right, you'll get into uni. But they don't prepare kids right. Because, man, I got there and I was shook. And a part of me understood what he meant when he said, you ain't going to make it. Because it's not like college. And I remember my first day walking on the lecture. And damn, man, I was shook because I walked in. And, like, I was the only brown guy. There was only 2 of us. And like, man, for me personally, when we see our people, well, we happy, you know, and that's not
You
trying
only
to be
need
racist.
one, eh?
Yeah.
You only need one, and you're like, that's my person.
And I remember we done sat next to him, and we both looked at each other, and I'll never forget that. We were like,
He would have been so happy to see you
he
too.
was happy, and we still talk about it today. But I remember the first thing we said to each other was like, "So are we in the right place?" And it
gets like
us
that
up,
sometimes, when you're the only
you know?
islander or something. You know, it's
And there's nothing like not being racist or anything.
It's not.
I just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I knew like, oh, like that's the real battle. And first year was mean. Like you had to explore everything. And I remember our first block, because you did blocks. Our first block at our school was performing arts. Bro, we did not do performing arts at school. So it really like confused me.
Yeah.
But I remember the tutor saying like, you enjoy this. And I'll never forget that. He said, enjoy this block and enjoy every other block. Because you'll come in here as an artist, like you'll come in here as a drawer and a painter, and I can guarantee you, you'll leave here something else. And I'll never forget that.
Good,
I was just
good
like,
teacher,
oh.
good teacher.
Yeah, because I was just like, at first I didn't get what he meant, because I was like, nah, Jack, I'm going to be a drawer, bro.
You're like, I know what I want to do, don't tell me.
But then it also made me realize like, there's so much to the field I'm going into. And first year was mean. Second year, it was still mean. Enjoyed it. And then I fell short. And I was angry because I did a piece on culture. And one of my tutors said to me, like, culture art's dying.
Okay.
And, bro.
You're like, all right.
And I failed that. And, like, I hated him for it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I was angry as. But that's where the power of forgiveness comes in, because I didn't apply for third year. I stopped for a couple of years. For like a year and a bit, or even 2 years, I stopped. And I remember I used to go everywhere, and I'll see the same people from uni. Like Mauso, Albie, the brown dude I saw. And I used to yarn to him about it. Like, man, that dude, bro, ball bags, you know?
Yeah.
Like, bro, he failed me, told me culture. Like, you're white, bro. Like, who are you to tell me about culture? And
you were teaching him about culture.
yeah, exactly.
Something he didn't.
The way I felt was, you know?
Because he wouldn't know about it.
Yeah. And he failed me because, and in a way, I felt like he failed me based on what he said. Like, culture's dying. But he didn't tell me why he failed me. That's where I hated
really?
him.
He didn't give you any explanation?
No
okay.
reason why. I just said, like, I didn't hit the criteria and, like, didn't meet the requirements. And I was just like, what do you mean, bro? Like, it was a painting block. I did my painting, did my mahi. You just didn't like it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think another lesson I learned from that was I started making work for people's likes, bro. And that's everything we do in life, eh? Like, a lot of people do things for other people's, like, hype. And in the art world, that's dangerous. In my field, it was dangerous because, like, you shouldn't make it for other people to appreciate it. You should make it because you appreciate it.
Yeah, it's your work.
Yeah.
And it should speak for itself.
Yeah, and the problem I had was that I was making work, but I was trying to, like, yo, like my stuff.
Yeah,
like
do
my
you
stuff.
like this? I
like
did this.
bro. Like this. And I think not even just in my field, it relates to everyone. Like, a lot of people out here are, like, pushing, and, like, bro, nothing wrong with pushing, but push for you. Don't push to be recognized, like, recognize yourself. And a lot of the boys know this, that I go by the saying, like, mind my language, but, like, nobody's gonna fuck with you unless you fuck with yourself, and that's just the truth, eh?
Like, have your own back.
Yeah. Like, it's like saying, like, don't love other people when you don't even love yourself.
100%.
And through that, I learned a lot. Just, like, I appreciated my work. And then I went and saw that tutor. I remember I went and saw him, and I said to him, like, because he was still cool, and that's why I didn't make sense of. And because I was so angry at him, because every time he'll see me, he'll be like, hey, Josh. And I'll just do that, yo. Because I was mad. I was like, nah, bro, I want to talk to you.
It's like the resentment, that internal.
You're a dog, bro. And then I remember, like, me learning and going to church with my partner. Because, man, and honestly, God's been a massive part of my journey, eh? And God taught me, like, forgive those things,
So important.
And I remember I just forgave him one night. Like, I was just like, nah, it's all good. I get it. I failed. And that, there's a part of it where you got to own your fault too, Like, a lot of people are easy as to be like, nah, it's you, it was you, it was you. It was him, it was him. Like, nah, bro,
It's
own
humility.
your fault.
It's humility being like, okay, my bad.
Own your fault, you know, like, you can't always be like, it was him, it was him, it was him. A part of it was you. And when I accepted that, I applied for third year. And I got into third year. And I remember doing my first piece of third year. And the same guy that failed me came up to me and he said it to me, he goes, this is good stuff, Josh. And I remember, like, man, this dude don't hate me. Like, that's just me hating me,
Yeah, when you realize it's that whole resentment, it's just like this poison that eats away at you.
Exactly.
But then you forgave.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
bro, and I didn't even say anything to him. Like, I didn't even say anything about, like, he came to me. And that taught me, like, bro, you hating for no reason, like, bro, you out here angry for nothing.
That's so, like, powerful.
Yeah.
You're angry for nothing.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that happens in our areas, in our communities. Someone says something bad and you're just like, dead to me.
Yeah,
I hate you. And then you come out after forgiveness and then you're like, oh, I was mad for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, and that's so important because people hold on to that.
Yeah.
And you become your own setback.
Bro, definitely. And I learned that. And man, I remember, like, when the first thing he said to me was like, Josh, this is really good stuff. And he walked away. And a part of me was angry at myself because I was like, bro, this dude's all good.
You're like, this whole time.
Yeah. This dude's all good. And but I let the anger get the best of me, and a lot of us do that, like, when something doesn't go away, it's easy as to hate. But sometimes you got to look at yourself and be like, man, I did something wrong. And, like, maybe you didn't explain it in the best way. Yeah, hard. But at the same time, it was just kind of like, bro, you got to own your faults, man. Because in my journey, when I started owning my shit and, like, learning that I ain't perfect and I have flaws too, holy crap, bro. I, like, hit the roof. Like, I was going for gold. And I made some of the best pieces just being at peace and having that mindset of, like, bro, the noise is always going to be there. But you got to make your own noise, you got to make your own beat sometimes, eh?
Yeah, you do. You have to make your own noise in your internal dialogue of what you tell yourself to keep you going.
That's it.
Is so important. But I like how you said you talked about your faults. Like, you were like, okay, I have to do some serious reflection here. And a lot of people don't want to do that. That's why they point and then they're like, it's your fault, it's that person's fault, or I didn't get here because of that person. But when you stop and you, like you said, you reflect, and you look at, okay, what you've done, and you're like, okay, how did I react? Oh, I could have done that better.
Yep.
Or maybe I'm not good at that. Okay, I'll work on that. See, that is work that nobody really wants to do, because that's work that no one sees.
Yeah. But you got to do it.
It's internal stuff.
You got to do it, man, because, like, eventually you're just going to be a real, like, just a mad bull, rolled up bull, angry at nothing. You know?
It's a waste of energy. And it's...
bro, 100% is a waste of energy, you know?
And people from our areas, it's kind of normal for people to be like that if something doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
That we're just like, oh, I'm mad. And, you know, I can relate to that too. Like, there's certain times where things didn't go my way and I didn't get certain jobs that I wanted, and I'll be mad. Oh, you didn't want to hire me. But then you look back and you're like, look at where you are now, and you're like, actually, no, that was good.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And you're like, man, I was angry for no reason.
Exactly.
Like you said before, I was angry for no reason.
Yeah. And honestly, like, understanding the term that it's never too late to do that and to kind of forgive yourself. Because, man, to forgive others, you got to forgive yourself.
That is so key.
You know?
Forgive yourself before you forgive others. And that's why people aren't forgiving anyone.
And, like, honestly, I remember my art just went off. And I started making pieces about me, about where I'm from.
Not for the likes, not for other people. And
And I remember, like, I'll never forget it, like, even in second year when our first day back, a dude said to me in LB, I'm surprised you returned. That was his first thing to us. And he was one of the boys too.
You're like, okay.
Yeah. But I made a work on it. I made a work on it, not to be a dick, not to kind of shine light on what he did wrong, but more like, I'm here because I want to be here, you know? And people get mixed up when someone says something to you. And, like, well, I'm going to tell you now, you can do 9 things right, and that one wrong thing, bro, people will be like, bro, that dude's the dude that did this.
Yeah, people tend to focus on the negative. That's what the news is all about, right? Yeah. Negative sales.
Yeah. And I remember I did that work, and the dude came up to us and he was like, oh, sorry, bro. Like, I said to him, nah, it's not to kind of point you out and shame you. Like, I get it. It can come across like that. But it was just to kind of tell you, like, fuck what you say, bro. I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I'm here anyway. And
you didn't let that hold you back.
Yeah,
you're like, I could have,
but
I'm turning this into art so that you know that words matter.
Yep.
And that I switched this up.
Yep.
You know?
And it was
turned a negative to a positive, like you were saying before.
And, bro, like, third year, when I started making pieces about where we're from, like, I did a piece on patches.
Oh, yo.
Heaps of people were kind of like, what the hell is this dude on, bro? Because, like, all my research was, like, about gag patches. And
that is so relatable, though.
Exactly.
Like, that,
exactly.
For me, I'm like, yo, that should be done more. Because it is in our communities.
Yeah. But I remember I did all these circles, and my work was about talking about the circle of life, wearing your own patch. Because at uni, I wore my own patch, you know.
Nice.
Like, and it was a patch of forgiveness and just kind of like redeeming myself. That was my patch. But at the same time, there was a lot going on at home. And people knew I was from the West. They were like, oh, what happened, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's just Monday, my bro. You know? Like, that's just Tuesday out West. But I did a work, and I remember I printed on Hessen. And Hessen, if you don't know, is like sandbag materials and like potato sack material.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about the hard mahi we go through, our families go through. Mm-hmm. And that was another massive push, because you got to understand where you're from, you know, understand that your parents migrated here and they grinded for you.
For a better life.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're out here wasting it being angry.
Yeah. Like,
you know?
that's so important because anyone that's got family from the islands is like, my mom was the same. Like, her family all came from Niue to have a better life. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And same as your family from Sa, it's the same. And it's like, you said a powerful thing and you're out here being angry. Yeah. You know, they brought you here to, you know, have a better life and for their families to have a better life, which is us. We're like, the offspring of that, and it's like, and you're out here just gonna be mad?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Perspective, man.
Bro, and it was crack up because I felt like a whole new person, And like honestly, that was God. Because God, I felt like God put me here for a reason, And like I know a lot of people don't believe in God, and that's you, man. But I believe
Each
in
to
God.
their own right, yeah.
I believe in God because God taught me a lesson in the things that are around me, like hatred and forgiveness. Like, bro, I didn't even read the Bible about forgiveness. I read it in life, seeing it every day, like how important it is and how much you can grow from that. And I remember at the end of third year, a lot of my mates were like, oh, you're going to do honors? And I kept it quiet, like, I don't know, man. And I prayed about it. And my partner kept telling me, like, you should just do honors. And I remember the tutor saying, like, and he looked straight at me and he goes, you know, you got to average a B plus. And I was like, bro, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean B plus, bro? I'm getting A's this year, bro. I know what you're talking about. And I got into honors. Man, nice. I took off I made a lot of works, and I think a part of my grind was understanding that there's so much there for you, but you limit yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
You limit yourself. That's so true. It's because we think that we've only got one option.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you're like, okay, if that doesn't work out, then that's it.
Definitely.
But you're like, we limit ourselves.
Yep.
But you're like, nah, it's limitless.
Yep. And it's never too late.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember, like, because my degree was a 4-year degree. Because here on honors was 4 years. I did more than 4 years. But I think the biggest thing for me was understanding that we time ourselves. Like people like out here, like, I want to get married by 30, I want to have kids, blah, blah. And my goal was like, I want to get out of uni by 21, 22. And it didn't happen. And I felt like I fell short. I didn't fall short because it did happen, But it's because I timed myself.
Yeah, you're like,
time bomb on myself. Why? Why you gotta limit yourself for? Like, why?
Especially when you're so young.
Exactly. You know? And we have that trouble. Our people, we have that trouble. Not even just our people. I see it in like everyone. Like,
it's quite common.
Yeah, and if something doesn't happen to a specific time,
yeah, I need to be doing this at this time at this age and achieve this much. And then they don't, and then it just crushes them.
And then they don't want to do it anymore.
They don't want to do anything.
Why? Because you timed yourself, bro.
Yeah, you're like, you could just still achieve that whenever, when you achieve your goals, when you achieve them, it doesn't, the date of the goal may have moved, but the goal's still the goal, you know?
And I remember, like, it used to shake me a bit when people used to be like, isn't your degree like 4 years? You've been at uni for ages. And that can shake people, And I remember hearing that. One lady was like to me, oh, you've been doing that for a long time. Like, isn't that like 4 years? And I was just like, yeah. But it's all good. 4 years can be 8. 4 years can be 6. 4 years could be 5, That's how you look at it. And I get it. You live by it's a 4-year degree. It is a 4-year degree. But you don't know my story. And I was all good with it because I knew my story. So I was just like, bro, whatever.
That's the thing when you have confidence in yourself. You're like, yeah, but I did it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Exactly.
So people, like your mindset as you went through these different trials that came up, your mindset was like, nah, like, who cares about the noise?
Yeah.
Someone comes up to you, oh, it's a 4-year degree and you've been there for longer than 4 years. You're just like, so what?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, you just have that mentality of so what? And I think that a lot more people need that because there's so many people from the areas that we're from that would have done the same thing. They're like, okay, I'm going to have a break and, I don't know if I'm going to go back or, it's taking longer than expected. Their 4-year degree is taking a little bit longer than 4 years. And family or friends will be like, oh, I thought it was only 4 years and it's like 5, 6, 7 now. You're just like, who cares? Like, have that mentality of who cares because you're going to make it anyways.
Exactly.
Don't worry about what they say. They're not going to live your life. They don't know your story.
Exactly. And I think that's important because when there's gossip, bro, a lot of people get shaken by it. But like I said, no matter what you do in life, there's always going to be someone saying something. And I learned that at a young age. Like, bro, and I remember that lady. And I just said, yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a 4-year degree. Doesn't mean it has to be 4 years consecutive.
Yeah, when you
You
hit
know?
them people with facts,
Yeah.
right? What did she say after that?
And then she goes, oh, what do you mean by that? And I go, oh, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I just walked off and I just laughed and got my food. And I was just like, man, some people in this world, like,
They
you
just
just gotta
don't-
hate, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
There's haters for a
Yeah.
reason, right?
Yeah.
All they do is hate. And it's generally an internal thing. You
Yeah.
know, they have low self-esteem and they don't believe in themselves and they don't have goals themselves. So
Yeah.
when they see someone like yourself that is actually achieving their goals, maybe not in the time frame that in their mind
Yeah.
it should be, they're still achieving goals. They're just like, no,
Yeah.
they're going to fail. You're a failure, you know, and you're just like, you have a sense of humor, which I think is so important,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that's our culture too.
Yeah. You gotta laugh at yourself.
We laugh at ourselves first
Yeah.
and everyone else second.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, so when someone else laughs at you and it's like, oh, you took longer than 4 years, you're just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
have a laugh, go get a feed. Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
And I was all good with it. And towards the end of third year, a lot of things started popping up, like workshops. And I applied because I was just like, bro, I'm gonna go have
A lot of
jam.
doors
Yeah.
opening.
And I
Nice.
went in and like I remember people at uni were like, oh, but you know, like you don't get paid for it. And I said, yeah, see, that's your problem, bro. That's your problem.
Always with that, eh?
Yeah.
Like people were like, are you getting paid? And it's like, that's the mentality,
Yeah,
eh?
that's your problem, bro. Because I was just doing it because I wanted to do it. I just wanted to
If it
like show
makes you
love.
if it makes you happy,
Yeah.
you're not hurting anyone, you're passionate about it, you're learning as you go. People don't look at that. They're
Yeah.
just like, how much you making?
Mm.
It's like, but are you happy? The people that are
Yeah.
saying that, you're like, you could ask them, are you happy though?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember I applied for all these workshops, and I remember my tutor Steve. Man, Steve Lovett. Yeah, if you know that man is pure gold. Just a man of love, you know.
Nice.
And he always pushed me like, Josh, I think you'll be good at this workshop. And at first I was like, man, it's not out of my comfort zone, you know. And then he just said like, there's something about you that people will love. And I remember him saying that. And I said, so what do you mean by that? And he goes, I think you'll be a great teacher, Josh. And I looked at him and I said, nah. And he goes, nah, you have no idea. You have no idea. And then I did these workshops and, man, these workshops humbled me, eh? Because I was just like, these people have no idea about art. And they come in fresh airs and just seeing the joy that they left with. To me, that was payment. You know what I mean? Like, just seeing people happy was my payment. I was happy with that. And just seeing them love what I love to do. That, you can't buy that. You know, there's things in life that you can't buy, and that's the joy
That
of people.
feeling, yeah.
And I remember going back to uni and people were like, oh, how was it? And I was like, bro, it was mean. And what I didn't realize, what he was doing was like, bro, this is how you network. This is how you network. This is how you get to know people. This is how people know who you are. And I didn't get it. At first I was like, yeah, I've met blah, blah. And then like 2 weeks later, same people were like hitting me up. Hey, Josh, my work is running a studio. And I was wondering if you can come down. And I was like, oh. I went down and then they paid me. But I didn't want the pay. But he was just like, you see, you're good. And what I learned from that is that money flows in.
Money will come.
Yeah, don't go in with money as your mindset.
Yeah, like
Money
I
will
have to
come.
do this and then I'll get this amount. You know,
Yep.
you let your dreams and your passion and you loved it. And like you said, it was out of your comfort zone, but
Yeah.
because he believed in you and he was like, you know, you got this. And you're
Yep.
like, okay, sweet. You did it. And then you saw how people came in and
Yep.
how they left,
Yep.
knowing that you helped them and you taught them and you
Yep.
showed them your passion, and you're like, okay, this is great. And then the importance of networking, which is communication, which
Yep.
is very hard for people from the areas that we're from, because we're all like, could be quite shy and
Yep.
don't want to speak up, or, you know, it's good that you did that. You got out of your comfort zone, tried something new.
Yep.
And like you said, the money will come.
The money will come.
And people don't realize that from the areas that we're from. They
Yep.
think the money needs to come first. and then, but the people that say money comes first and then you work hard, those people aren't happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Or when you work hard for something you're passionate about, like you said, the money will come. And that's like someone we had interviewed last week, and she had said the same thing. She goes, money will come.
Yeah, money does come.
And she loves what she does. And it's just crazy how people don't understand that. So that's a powerful message.
It is powerful, because going out of my comfort zone made me realize like how good I was, you know, like how mean I was. And I remember, at the end of honours, I said to the tutor, like, I started getting a lot of like notice, like heaps of people started noticing me, and I got this mean gig for back home in Samoa, like to do pieces with Samoa.
Nice.
And it was good. It was good for me, because I felt great just coming back. And then he said to me, do you see what I'm saying to you, Josh? Like, you're good and you can be a great teacher. And then I started doing more workshops out west at Zeal. If you know Zeal, hit it up. Like, bro, that's the spot.
Nice.
And a lot of people think like it's just for bum people. Nah, man, you're dumb. you know, go in there and have a jam. And I did a workshop there, and just seeing youth kids that were kicked out of high school coming through and loving what I love. And then some of them just saying like, man, that's mean seeing one of ours like out there. And I said to them, you can do the same.
Yeah.
You just let the noise get to you. And just went from there, and started doing more for myself. And that's the goal. Do it for yourself, man. And I did my degree for myself. No one will do it for you. And I remember when I got that paper, and that was like the best feeling in the world. Because I did it.
Despite everything.
Yeah. Despite everything, I did it. You know, the guy back at school telling me I couldn't do it, to failing in level 2 or second year, and to getting there, you know. And I remember the last day, or like the last couple of weeks, Steve said to me, are you going to apply for teachers college? And I said to him, oh, because it's funny, because the first day of teachers college was the last day of Elam.
Oh.
So I had to hand in. And it was the first day of teachers college. And I remember I went from no breaks, straight through teachers college, did it all. And it just inspired me, seeing the growth of kids, and that's where I'm at now. Like, just loving what I do. And there's days, and there's always going to be days.
Yeah.
But man, you got to love it for you, you know. And that's my message to people, is that in life, no one wants to see you succeed more than yourself. That's just the honest truth. Even your boys, like, everyone around you, like, they want the bag too, just as bad as you. They want the bag, I want the bag. But when you put that aside, who cares about the bag? Just do what you love, man. Like,
do what you're passionate about, and like you said, everything else will follow, right?
Everything follows.
But people have got it backwards from where we're from, right?
Yep.
They want the bag first, and then then they're like, actually, do I even enjoy doing this?
Yeah. And that's a bit of me, like, that's a bit of my story, like, just understanding the fundamentals of life can drive you, man. It can really push you forward.
Yeah.
And what inspired me the most was my parents. Just seeing, like, my dad taught me, like, some of the biggest lessons in life that no one can teach you. And I know this as well for our people. We're not rich in money. Get over that, bro. Why are you trying to make money? Your parents didn't have money. Like, get over that mindset. Go with the mindset your parents taught you. My dad taught me, like, and I never forget this, like, he taught me, like, he's rich, not in money, but in everything else. Rich in love, rich in what he does. And you know, like, bro, that's way more than money, you know?
It's things that money can't buy.
Yeah, exactly.
That you need to be rich in.
Exactly.
You know? Because he's like the illustration of a guy crying in a Ferrari.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And then a guy who's super happy in a Honda Civic.
Exactly.
You know? It's money doesn't bring you happiness, which is so important, which is pretty much what you're saying.
Yep.
You're like, your dad taught you that happiness is and peace and things that you get without money. Because when the money's not there, what are you going to be? What's your foundation?
Exactly.
So it's so good that your dad taught you that.
Yeah. And I went into uni at 18 and I graduated 24? That's long.
But you did it.
It's never too late.
Yeah, never too late. You did take a break. There was a setback, but you said
it's a setup.
It's a setup.
It's a setup.
And when you think about it, it's like it's a spring forward. Like you're just holding back, and then and look where you are now.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that the people around you that have succeeded, bro, they had the biggest setbacks. You just
people see the success and they're like, oh yeah.
Can't be like him.
Yeah. Oh, Josh he's a teacher at, Liston now, and I want to do that. But people don't know your story.
People don't know.
People don't know that this is not what you were originally wanting to do.
Yep.
People don't know that you were told that, you won't even get into Elam.
And falling short's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, bro. Because it's like falling short, it's a shit feeling. It is. But you can also look at it like falling short is a part of growth.
It is.
And I learned that, it's a part of growth. And it's funny because I still see people from uni now and they're like, man, you look so happy. And it's like, because I am, bro. I am happy. I'm happy
that's
just to be here.
That's like the biggest accomplishment. Would you say that that's success to you?
Yeah.
Happiness?
That is, bro, success to me is just, being happy.
Yeah, because people don't realize that. They're like, success is get in the bag.
Yep.
It's just money and all these material things.
Yeah.
But you're like happiness.
Happiness. A lot of people, they always talk about, I'm a cracker. What do you mean, bro?
You're like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? I'm a cracker.
Yep.
What does that mean? And
I say it to my kids at school. The way you look at cracking it is the different way he'll look at cracking it. Because people always say it to me, Sully, you cracked it. You're teaching now. And I'm like, nah, I crack it every day just by waking up. Cracked it.
Yeah, winning.
And I remember
another day of life, winning.
And just me being at uni, I felt like I cracked it. Having the materials to do what I can do, cracked it. And that's what I mean. What do you mean by cracked it, bro? What do you mean by made it? I made it just by opening my eyes and saying thanks God for waking me up.
Being grateful for what you have.
Gratitude's a big thing.
It is the killer of negativity.
Yep.
And, you saying that you cracked it by waking up every day. Kids will be like, but, you're a teacher now. You're like, that's a plus.
Yeah.
You're like, I wake up every day. Yeah. So many people
don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people don't see that perspective of how powerful that is.
Yep.
You wake up every day, be grateful for that.
Yeah.
You have a job, be grateful for that. You love what you do, be grateful for that. You're loved, you're cared for, you've got good family and friends, be grateful for that.
And that's it. And I learned that from my old man. Just he didn't say it though. Because our parents don't say it. That's the funniest thing. They will never say the nicest things. And that's the truth, bro.
It's true, because that's what I was talking about with someone else that we interviewed last week. And, we were brought up on, it's on it insults and being mocked and, and then we grow up with thick skin. And but so, like you said, we aren't brought up on the words
of kindness.
Yeah.
We're not.
But we know it. We know that we're loved and cared for, though, by their actions, how they provide, how they treat us. So they don't necessarily have to say it, but we know that we're loved and cared for.
And I remember taking my old man to my first art show, bro, and he cried in the car. And he said to me, I didn't know that you're this passionate about art. And I said to him, yeah. And it's mean, because it's to me, it was just seeing him happy. And I remember taking him to the show, and one of my tutors walked up to him and he said to my dad to his face, and he goes, you have no idea how good your son is. And I was like, hey.
Man, that would have been awesome for him to hear.
Yeah. And he cried in the car and he said, I didn't know that you liked art this much. But he said, it's good. It's good that you love it. And I said to him, yeah. But my old man always taught me, and my mum always taught me that not everyone's for you. sadly. Not
It's
everyone
true though.
knows. Yeah.
That's a good
Bro.
thing to teach your kid.
Yeah. And I remember like growing up, like, man, there was always gossip about my parents, and like that's cool. But my dad, like even the people that talk shit about him, he was helping. And that's what I mean.
It's crazy when people do that,
Yeah.
because it's been similar with my parents. They've helped so many people, and then some people just turn around and then they
they dogged them.
and then you're like, but that's so important. What they taught you is some people aren't for you.
Yeah.
And then as you see that, as you get older, like you might help people do the same things that your parents would be very giving and generous.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around and, you know, maybe not treat you very good. And you're like, that's right. Go back to what my mom and my dad said. Some people aren't for me. That's okay.
And just seeing him help people that went behind him, that's where I learned, like, bro, this, like, man, not everyone's for you, you know, but he just showed me a sense that a lot of people will hate you and they'll talk about you, but you still help them.
Yeah. That's so important. Because my parents are the same. Like, no matter how badly someone treats you, if they need your help, you help them.
Yeah.
And not many people do that.
Yeah. And, man, because our old house had a umu, like a hangi place. And, bro, I remember as a little kid, every weekend, like, people were coming over to make a umu. And, like, it was some people, like, I heard my dad, like, man, like, they were saying stuff about him. And he still did it, you know? And growing up now, I see what he was teaching us as kids. Like, it's just understanding that no matter what, just do you, you know?
And still be a kind person. Like, I think that's so good that he taught you that.
Yeah.
Because he could have been like, oh, nah, you can't have any of this feed. Like, you dog me. Nah, get out. But he's just like, yep, I'm going to still, your dad was still being the same person, kind, loving, caring, no matter how badly someone treated him. And I think that's so important for people to know.
Definitely.
Because people think, oh, you treated me badly, I'm going to treat you badly.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, don't let a bad person change you to be like them. Because if you change and you treat them how they treated you, then you're just like them.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like a humble thing. Like, it's an island thing to just be like,
and
get over it.
It helped me in life, you know, like, especially at uni and, like, in the field I am as an artist. Like, man, the amount of people that tell you, like, there's no job being an artist. And I'll never forget this. Like, it's a crack of story. But we're at a bar once, and this old man asked us what we do and what we studied. And I told him what we studied. And he laughed. He laughed and goes, you artist, you really think you're going to make a living out of being an artist? You know what I said to him?
What did you say?
I said to him, put it this way, bro. For example, if you went missing and your family had no photos of you, right? And he goes, yeah. And they needed to find you, yeah. Who do you think they'll call? If they had no photos of you, who do you think they'll call? And he goes, an artist. And I go, guarantee it, bro.
You're like, and there we go.
Yeah. And I laughed at him. And he laughed too. And he goes, nah, my bad. But I think that's another message that people, whatever someone says to you, bro, laugh.
Yeah, like, that's our culture though.
Yeah.
It's like, because we already laughed at ourselves and laughing growing up, being mocked and stuff like that. Like, we just laugh at everything.
Yeah.
And you've just got to make other people laugh too, because they're taking themselves too seriously.
Definitely.
Right? So he was taking himself too seriously.
Way too seriously.
And then you just like flipped it, you know?
And we had a laugh and we had a drink together and it was crack up.
Yeah.
And, but it's just understanding that your grind matters if you make it matter. You know what I mean? Like, be an artist, it was hard, but now I teach. And I'm only 26 and it's my first year in teaching. A lot of people's first year was like 21, 22. But it's never too late, you know? Understanding that fundamental, like, age is just a number. Bro, go for gold, bro. Like, no one's going to stop your dreams unless you allow them to.
Yeah.
You know? And how many setbacks I had. And
your
just
mindset
like,
just stayed the same.
Yeah. See, when someone says something negative to you, bro, take it, put it in your pocket. Take it, put it in your pocket and walk with it. Because, like, the same ones that said something negative to you will be the same ones that will be like, oh,
Yeah,
you did it, G. You know?
prove them wrong. Like, I think that's kind of what you did, is you didn't let anyone tell you that you can't make it.
Yeah.
You didn't let anyone, since you were 14 years old,
Yeah.
no, you can't play anymore. You weren't like, oh yeah, okay, then I'm not going to do anything. You're like, okay, what else do I love? Okay, sweet, I love art. Sweet, cool, I'm going to start doing art.
Yeah.
You know? And another setback, oh, I don't know if you should,
Yeah.
you know, apply for Elam, like, or good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know? Someone not believing in you. Oh yeah, sweet, I'm going to show you. Did that. You know? And then you know, first year, and there's two island boys in the class. You're one of them.
Bro, I'll never forget that, but yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And then you know, after your second year, you know, big setback because you failed on a culture piece, which I think people don't understand the importance of that, because if you're brown and you do a culture piece, that is from the heart.
Yeah, definitely from
and
the heart.
that is something that you're passionate about, and that is your life, and you're just like, this is my heart on my sleeve, and this is here. And then for that to just be what you failed in, and then you're like, okay, then stuff this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm gonna have a break. I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So then for 2 years, 1 to 2 years, you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. And you got all this hatred, and you're just like, you know, that person, you know, failed me on such a fundamental piece that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, they failed me, and I love art. Nah, I hate this person, you know. And then you go to church with your missus, and you learn about forgiveness, and you learn about
God.
Yeah.
And the power of God.
And you just let that go. Like you said, there was one night and you were just like, nah, forgave him.
Yeah.
Forgave him. And then you went back to do your third year. And then you did your fourth year.
With honors too.
With honors.
Because you just got to bang with yourself.
You just kept going. And now you're a teacher at Liston.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit more about being a teacher at Liston. Did you go to Liston at all?
Yeah, I went Liston. That's the funny thing. You know, I still laugh
That's
about
the punchline. Like, you are now.
I went back. Yeah.
You're at Liston.
Yeah. And I love it there. Like, first year, like, I think teaching is cool because you see the kids grow. And man, I had a whole bunch of kids come in, and they did not know what they were doing because like COVID. You know, COVID got in the way. And then their faces, even my first introduction was like, hey boys, I'm an old boy from here. And they're like, hey. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, I know what you're going through. And when you make them understand that even though you're the teacher, you still learn from them, you know? And I've learned that this year, being a first year teacher, just understanding the kids matters, man. And understanding what they go through matters, you know, like relationships, say with the boys at school, and just understanding, like, they're just kids, bro. They're not gonna do it on the right, like do it right on the first go.
They're still learning, so they're gonna make a bunch of mistakes. Like they're.
And I always yarn to them. I try reflect what I went through, understand like injuries and stuff like that. Because it matters, like, these kids need to hear it now, you know? Because they're going to leave school thinking they're going to crack rugby, and when they don't,
yeah, you know? You're like...
But I love it. I love being back.
That's awesome.
There's some people there that taught me. And I remember my first day back, and a teacher said to me, hey...
What are you doing?
You're a naughty ass. And I remember, like, she said to me, you're a naughty ass in school. And I said to her, in school... I was naughty ass, and my bad. You know,
like,
but like, damn, you still caught up on that. But I finished years ago, bro. And what are you still doing here? You know, but it was just kind of like, I get what you mean, but it always comes back to that. Like, some people look at you the same way, you know.
Yeah.
But I've come a long way from being an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, and it's all part of like the stage that you went through in your life about forgiveness. You know, obviously she's not quite. Potentially not quite there yet, of just being like forgiving, especially kids.
Yeah.
You know, kids, none of us were.
They'll do the wrong thing.
I know. We were all little craps, and we all know that. And it's just like, but for her to see you now, she should be like,
grateful.
She would be like, you came back?
Yeah.
You made it? You're teaching now?
Yeah.
Like, I would be so proud if that was one of my students, you know?
And we crack up about it.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's funny. She's always like, man, I remember you doing this and that. And then another teacher came back, like term 3 came back, and I walked in. And he was cracking up because he was like, man, I remember you and your boys. And I said to him, yeah, sorry, sir.
You're like, sorry about that.
Sorry, but bro, I'm a whole different person. And I think that's another thing. A lot of people are like, man, worried about what other people think, hey.
Block out the noise, man.
Forget the noise, bro. Worry about yourself. Like, a lot of people are going to say something, you know. And if you're so caught up in what other people think of you, and like, you might as well just listen to them, you know, and live by what they say. Because, like, everyone's going to say something. And everyone's going to have opinions about your life and what you're doing in life. And they're always going to say, like that man, like, what do you, art, you know? And it's like, yeah, bro. But it's just understanding your journey for yourself.
Yeah.
And realizing that it's never too late to understand it, you know?
Understanding yourself more than other people understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll keep trying to change
and dictate your life.
Yeah, like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or maybe you shouldn't do art. Oh, what, you're going to apply to Elam? Like, if you listen to all that noise, you wouldn't be where you are today.
And it just becomes a problem.
Yeah, but you just kept fighting back like, nah, this is my vision. This is what I want to do. You kept at it. You did take breaks, and breaks are fine, and people need to understand that.
Taking
it's okay.
A break is fine.
Breaks are okay.
Yeah.
Take as long as you need.
Yeah.
Because the come-up's going to be bigger than you think.
And, like, that's it. You know, understanding that in life, you need a break. You know, bro, I remember, like, just stepping away and then going back. I had the meanest mindset. And, like, I was
Clears
just happy.
Your head, eh?
Yeah. No, it
Clears
just,
your head.
Bro. And it just makes you realize that you were holding yourself back.
When people realize that you are the only one that controls your actions, not what's around you. You can't control the noise. You can't control things that are happening. But you can only control your reaction and your actions towards your goals.
That's
like,
it. That's it.
That's all people need to focus on.
And it's funny because our people, holy crap, they take that the wrong way. You know, but understand it for yourself.
Understand yourself more.
Yeah,
because it's an internal thing, and mindset is an internal thing, which you talked about at the very beginning. Is that's why it's so important, because it's your foundation that you come back to, right?
Yep.
You know, you get a setback. Someone says, "Oh, you're not good enough," or "Oh, you're not going to make it." Setback. What's your foundation? No, I am good enough. I know what I want. I know how to get to where I want to be. Okay, sweet. You're back up there again.
Yep.
Sweet. Your confidence is there. And then someone else comes along. Oh, what? You're back at this school? You're teaching here? Oh, another setback.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, man. I worked hard to get here. I am different from when I was 18. Yeah, here I am. Like, it's constantly fighting those external battles. So your internal battle has to be way stronger, and your mindset has to be way stronger than any of the noise.
That's it. And my advice to people is that in life, the hardest road can be the hardest road if you make it a hard road, you know. But sometimes taking the long way is fine. You know, we're all about cutting it in. Nah, I think, bro.
Everyone's for the now.
Yeah.
You know?
If you have to take the long route, take it. I took the long route.
And look where you are.
I took the longest route, you know. I took the longest route, missed the off-ramp, you know.
You're like, took a couple detours and, you know.
But it's fine. Understand that taking the long road's all good. And it's fine, like, because my advice is that if you do take the long road, you learn way more.
Hard. Because there's way more setbacks, you know.
It brings you way back to yourself. Like, bro, I remember, like, seeing all the boys, like, having jobs, and I remember seeing my mates graduate before me, like LB and stuff, like they all graduated before me. And but I was there. was there. I sat there. And bro, I was happy as.
That's good.
Like,
still hyping them like when you were 14
yeah,
and you didn't, you know, your
like
friends
my
were
class,
doing, yeah.
my class graduated without me. And I remember saying to them, like, so I'll be there. And when I graduated, they were there for me, like, gee, you fucking cracked it, like,
Came back.
and you did it, bro, and you did it for yourself. And like, when I see them now, they're all happy for me because it's a genuine thing. Like, love goes where you give it, and it comes back where you give it, you know. And people don't realize, like, just being there for your mates can go a long way, because they'll be the same ones that'll be there for you, you know. And man, just
they become your foundation.
Yeah, hard out, but celebrate your friends' winnings.
Yeah, even if you're not winning, because you know at the time you technically you hadn't. You said your class graduated, and you were still
doing the mahi.
Yeah, you were still working, and you're just.
There.
But you went to support them no matter what. You put your pride aside, and where you were, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna still do this.
Because celebrating your friends is cool. Yeah,
and that is important for people to understand, that celebrating your friends is cool.
Yeah,
like don't think it's too cool. You're too cool to celebrate your friends, like, because that's the mentality that I see.
And just because you didn't reach it, don't make it like it's their fault.
Yeah,
because like that's what you're doing. If you don't reach a goal and your friend did, and you're not there, like, that's
still be happy for them. Like, I
out.
think that's really important.
Yeah, be happy in life, because like, just like don't let anyone tell you how to live life too, you know.
That I think that's really important. Don't let anyone tell you how to live your life.
Yep.
Because people will be like, oh, maybe don't do art. Maybe don't follow your passion. And you're like, no, this is what I want to do. Because would you say, because how we end our podcast normally, but you've kind of touched on it, how, like, what would you say to your younger self or to the younger community? But you kind of were talking about taking the long road. Would that be?
To my younger self?
Yeah.
Is take what everyone says to you with a grain of salt.
Nice. Take what everyone says to you with a grain of salt.
Like, even the good things, like, bro.
Don't think you're all that.
Yeah. But, you know, like, to my younger self is just, man, there's going to be days where you're going to want to, like, not wake up. But it's just the doing part. Show up every day and show what you're doing, that you mean business, you know, that you're there for it. And to the younger ones coming through, just understand that, like, people are not all for you. And when you root for yourself, that's what matters the most, you know. Like, you can't, you know, if you had an idea, for example, and someone told you that it wasn't a good idea, are you going to tell me you're going to stop because someone told you it wasn't a good idea? Bro, the biggest businesses like Nike, Adidas, like, all of that was an idea. You know what I mean? Like, don't stop because someone, bro, opinions, like, I remember my mate told me this, opinions are like assholes, everyone has one. You know?
That's true.
And it's just like, to the younger ones, bro, go for gold, man, because, like, not everyone's going to, like, love what you say and, like, love what you're trying to do. As long as you love it, that's what matters most.
Yeah.
As long as you love it, and you know that you can do it, hard. Don't look at it for the bag. Look at it for happiness, you know, because the bag follows.
Yeah. I like how you said how happiness first, then the bag follows. Because people have that switched from where we're from.
Yeah.
Get the bag and that'll bring you happiness. But you're like, no. Happiness first, then the bag will come.
And and another thing is that people think money's the goal. Money is not the goal. Money is an object, you know, like, it's used to buy things. It's used to pay for things. But, like, every time, because, like, if you make money, you're going to have to use it. And then you're going to have to wait again for money. But if you take money away...
Are you happy?
Yeah. You're still going to do it.
Yeah.
You will do it. Because I know I'll do it. I enjoy it. It's me. But, like, it's just life, you know? Like, you can't you can't think that you're going to crack it the next day too. Takes time, bro. Mahi, if you put in the mahi, the treats will follow. You can't just like think like, I'm going to do this, and if it doesn't work out, nah. It's like going to the gym. You can't lose weight in 24 hours.
Yeah. Go to the gym once or sign up and all of a sudden.
And think you're fit. Yeah. And think you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. No. Yeah. Nah, bro. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Put in the work. And just put it in for yourself. And never let anyone tell you like that you can't do it, or like, oh, you can't do that, like, 'cause you're too old, and like, nah, you can't go uni, you're like 30 plus. You can't go uni, you're 50 plus.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah, those
grind
are
for you.
Yeah, grind for you, and make sure that your goals are your goals, and don't worry about the noise.
You know? Join the noise. Have fun with the noise, you know?
Yeah, and laugh at it. Have a sense of humor.
And like I said, there's always going to be noise, but make your own noise. Do it in silence and make the success be the noise, you know?
Yeah, let your success be the noise. I think that's important for people to know. Let your success be the noise.
Definitely.
So
that's it.
I think that's a good thing to leave people on, you know? Yeah. Let your success be the noise. And if that's the only thing that people get from this podcast, and to just block out the noise, then, you know, I'll be happy with that.
Same here.
But yeah, I'm super grateful that you were able to share your story.
Nah, grateful to share it.
Like with all the setbacks. And you saying that a setback is a setup. Like that, I think, is like you're saying, is you kept saying setback is a setup.
Yep.
And people think, oh yeah, setback, what am I going to do? And you're like, nah, it's a setup. Wait for what's to come.
Yeah.
And just seeing your foundation of your parents and your upbringing, you've made them proud.
Yep.
And you've gone back to the school where certain people said that you... that didn't think that you would be back there teaching even. So you blocked out the noise.
Block it out.
You let your success be the noise. You actually lived that saying. That's amazing for the kids to hear that, you know?
That's it.
And take everything with a grain of salt, what people say, because people will always be negative towards you no matter what you do.
Yep.
Especially if you're happy, because a lot of people aren't happy with themselves, so they...
Put it on you.
Yeah. Their insecurities, but you're like, nah, take it with a grain of salt.
That's it.
And not everyone's for you, like what your parents had taught you. So all of those messages are so important for people to see.
Yeah.
So it's just been awesome that you're able to share that and remind people that it is never too late.
Yeah.
You know? And taking the long road is all good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So really, really appreciate you bringing on Josh. Like, it's been awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Mean.
Awesome.
My name's Raquel Main. Thanks for listening to the Never Too Late podcast, recorded at Crescendo Studios, Avondale. Engineered by Reese Muir and Micah Thompson. This was sponsored by Upright Truth Tellers Clothing. Please check the show notes for links on where to find us.